You have a sheet of paper. I have a pen. Because you're going to answer personal questions for yourselves. So be ready when we get there. Very tough questions. All right. As I was coming, I just stumbled. Maybe it's the algorithm that did it for me. But no. It's a friend of mine. He had a post. He's an elderly guy. And he had a post out on Facebook, and I laughed. And I said I would start out by reading it. He said, don't rush into a relationship to get married to someone because you met them in church. Because church is like a hospital, and not all patients are responding to treatment. I found that quite funny. All right, you may bring in a bit. Okay. All right, so I just want to say a few things before we start. So we've started, but let me just say a few things. Please, it's important, all right? Very important, these three things, and they are very important. First of all, for your future, because of the how sensitive it is and how life, for a man too, but particularly for a woman, a man might be in control of the relationship, but for a woman, particularly because you are going under authority, it is very, very important who you get married to will shape the future of your life. Now, so I advise people, this is just before I start an advice here. What prayer does is that even things that you don't know and you don't understand, God causes your lines to fall in pleasant places. So form yourselves or form a group of your friends, maybe 3, 4 of you, and put it to God in prayer. Somebody said this way. He said, pray about something until every fear that you have within you about that thing disappears, and you know it can't go wrong. So get with a group of friends and begin to pray about that particular issue, which means that it's not when, circumstances start evolving, you start praying. Pray, all right, long before it happens. The reason why Old Testament prophets sometimes were very accurate was that they prophesied about things, not when those things were happening or when people were emotionally involved. They prophesied about those things years before, hundreds of years before, all right? So there was no emotional connection to their prophetic utterances. When you start prophesying in the midst of something, then emotions get involved and it can contaminate what you're doing. So that's the first thing. First thing is commit, all right, regardless of the principles you learn, commit to prayer and start praying about it. I always think about this. When we were young, we just got saved, and there was somebody who I knew in the church. The church was very small then, and the pastor used to ask somebody to preach. Just on a Sunday before he comes to preach, just come up and share, and he will give them the service to share. And there was this young lady I knew then who was my sister's friend. And she was so deeply spiritual that she was the first young person he allowed to share in the church. We went to the same university, so we're in the same campus fellowship. She was leading worship. You could see clearly that this girl had something carrying on her life. But she married somebody who didn't have that orientation at all. I don't even think he was born again. And everything disappeared there. So particularly if you believe you are carrying something for God, it is very important that you take time to pray about it. Number 2, I want to tell you that the magic, or the word I want to use is the juju of, you know what juju means, eh? Mm-hmm. I will show you in scripture. The juju of relationship is favor. I want to show you. Constantly pray unto God, second thing, that his favor, dedicate, all right, months to prayer on this, that his favor rests upon you. Now, what leads to divorce and let me put out the scripture. Divorce and separation in relationship is actually lack of favor there. All right? Okay. Go to Deuteronomy. Let me put up Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. I want to show you how powerful favor is. Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 1. Look at what he says here about divorce, separation. When a man take a wife and married her, and it comes to pass that she find what? No favor in his eyes, because he hath seen some uncleanness in her. Uncleanness means just something, a character default. He saw something, well, this was talking about something in particular, but uncleanness in her. Let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. So what causes separation in relationship, I will show you this, is not the presence of the uncleanness or the presence of the infirmity or the presence of the character defect. Is because she found no favor in his eyes. Because if there's favor that rests upon you, and this male and female too, if there's favor that rests upon you, you will see that when people see things, that's why I said, Juju, when people see things that are wrong, the favor of God will cause those things to override those things. Look at 1 Samuel chapter 29, verse 6 of David, to show you that it's not the defect, it's the favor that is the issue. 1 Samuel 29, verse 6 here. All right? And Achish called David and said unto him, surely as the Lord liveth, thou hast been upright, and thy going out and thy coming in with me in the host is good in my sight. For I have not found evil in thee since the day of thy coming unto me unto this day. Nevertheless, the Lord's favor thee not. You see, there was nothing wrong with him. All right? But the absence of favor caused the problem. So it is not, all right, whether or not somebody recognizes something. So people have been in relationships where for some small issue, they just have said, I'm not doing again. And people have been also in relationships that bigger issues have happened there, right? And they have continued within those relationships and they have succeeded. And the issue is that favor was actually operating there. So pray God's favor over your life, because that is the secret to it, okay? And many people don't understand the power there of favor. I was listening to somebody, I just stumbled on this, and it's the truth. I'll show this here. And he said he was preaching, and nobody was responding. People will say, your message is very good. And one day God told him, he said, I've allowed your church to be this small because you haven't recognized the role of favor. Start asking me for favor and you'll see. He says now he understands. It's not how good a preacher he is, but it's because the favor of God rests upon him. So, no fault found, but favor still was absent. Some have faults, but are favored, and some are very good, but without favor. Now, in the case of somebody saying, well, I've been nobody has approached me years, or since I've been born again, or I'm this, nobody has ever approached me. And people have said, well, maybe this is a generational cause, it's a family something. Let me say this here. I'm not saying there can be family something there. But you don't get rid of darkness by driving out darkness. You get rid of darkness by switching on the light. Do you get what I'm saying here? So even if there's a generational cause, you switch the light on. That's why when Paul was telling God, he said, God, take this thing away, which means drive away this darkness. You don't remove darkness by driving it out. You remove darkness by switching on the light. And therefore, the light, when it comes to relationships that cause people to look upon you in a certain way and approach, there is favor. So what you should be asking for, which is, so even if it's something generational, they should just understand that it is favor. That's why it tells us in Acts chapter 2 and verse 47. It says that, Acts 2 and verse 47, praising God and having favor with all people, and the Lord added to the church. It is the favor there that caused the addition to come. It's that favor that caused, all right, people to come there. So favor is what draws people to you supernaturally. So it is something you should pray about. It is favor that makes a person see some slight fault in you and overlook that slight fault there and not make a strong decision based on it because of the favor of God that rests upon you. So, number 2 here, make praying for God's favor a major issue in your life. God quickened this in my spirit recently. All right, this is about something else, and I've been praying about it, and I've seen things happen indeed. Just because you start asking God that He should consciously place His favor, all right, upon you. The third thing I want to say before I teach, I'll teach quickly here, is that the most attractive thing about a person, and this is something where that person is attractive, and the person has an aura that is attractive there. And I firmly believe that this is what Abraham was saying about his wife when he said, you are fair to look upon. And I'll show the Greek words and the Hebrew words. When he says you are fair to behold, and that it wasn't just talking about physical, people say she was very old, but it wasn't just talking about, it was something there. It was an aura that was there. And it leaves a memory on the person who has an encounter there with you. And the most attractive quality that you can find in a man or a woman there, okay, is not external beauty or external good looks or how the guy dresses or how, and all of that. All right, the most attractive element that you find in a person is actually kindness. All right, when men were asked that did they desire most from women, all right, in a private survey there, they said vitality, which is energy, life. What you can call naturally good vibes, which means no mood swings. You don't want somebody who has mood swings and you come in and you are battling on the streets and then you come in again and then we have wahala at home again with somebody again. We are now doing counseling session. All right? Okay? I'm just saying, they said they want energy, they want life, which means you come in, there's energy, there's life. That was what actually was the most attractive thing they wanted. When they asked the women what was the thing that they wanted the most from a guy, which is obvious, security. That's obvious now. You are quiet. It's security now. Aha. You want to know that you are what? Secure. You are quiet. It's security now. Okay? Security means I entered into a place and some prayer points have gone. Aha, now you are with me. So all those prayer points have gone. We can focus, we can plan, because there is what? Security there. So vitality, energy, that's why when somebody's moody, you start saying, and I'm getting into it, you make yourself less, all right? And security is that's why even if you meet someone else, I want to introduce somebody else, very good looking. Okay, what does he do? Where you are going to is what? Security. Are we entering one chance or are we going into a secure environment? However, when they asked them now, what was common to both of them, which means men said vitality, women said security, but when they checked, which is number 2 there, both of them, it came to kindness. And quickly, I just want to show that is the most attractive thing in a human being, and is something that you should cultivate. When a kind person when there are acts of genuine kindness, nobody forgets those acts of kindness. This is why when somebody like Abigail met David, as I was reading that scripture for the first time, I knew that once Nabal died, that David was going to go and call Abigail to come and marry him. There was the act of kindness. That's exactly what Abraham's servant said. When he said, look, we have everything, we have silver, we have gold, we have everything. But he said, this is going to be the test. Not that she should give water to us that are thirsty, But if she will go the extra mile, and it's not something you can calculate, it's just that you have to be like that. To say that, let me go and draw water for the camels, all right, to come and drink. He said, that is the person, which means that that person that is kind there. So the most attractive thing, Romans chapter 12, verse 17, when he says we should provide things that are honest in the sight of men, all right, Romans 12, 17, right? When it compares, provide things honest in the sight of men. 2 Corinthians 8, 21, all right? Providing honest things. Now, when they say honest things there, they don't mean as is described in English, which are, good things or honest things there. The word means, that word actually means things that are handsome, gracious, fair to look upon. Right? It does not primarily mean telling the truth, even though that's an integral part of character. But what it says there, it speaks about, this word is not saying that. It comes from a Greek word, which the word is kalos, which is beauty of form. That thing, honest there, beauty of form. It means a lovely person. That's why it says, recompense no man evil for evil, but be a lovely person in the midst of this. It's a word that describes, when he says the queen was the fairest of all women, when he talked about Esther. It is the word that describes loveliness, attractiveness, graciousness. It delights the heart, and it also pleases the eye. It describes a beauty that is not just merely decorative. It is something that is useful, which means that it's a quality that when people come in contact with it, they know this is somebody that is useful to humanity. It describes coins that are made of genuine silver and not counterfeit. It describes deals carried out by people, all right, which are, or things, deeds done by people which are unquenchable forever. In other words, the description of what Jesus said when he said in Matthew 26, verse 10 to 13, that this good deed that she has done, that this kind deed she has done, will be remembered forever. So that's what it describes, and that is what leaves a lasting memory there upon the hearts of people. All right? It's the same thing when God saw creation and said it was good. So acts of kindness, it is the same thing that we see in David when he was going to battle and they saw, that's an act of kindness, which means, or the good Samaritan, who that's an act of kindness there. Those acts there stay in the minds of people, which means if somebody sees you do an act of kindness there, that person will never, that thing will stay in the mind of that particular person. If a woman looks at a man and sees that kind of act of kindness, and then she looks at him and it will stay within her. And if she's looking for somebody at that particular point, I want to get married, that thing will stay within her. Once other conditions they are met, she will never forget. It's a extremely, extremely powerful thing. It stays in the mind, all right, of people forever. Anybody who shows you an act of kindness can never forget that human being. It's what David and his people, when they saw the man that was sick and they went to meet him, which means even under pressure, they were going for battle. It was an act of kindness, spontaneous from their heart. And they saw him and said, look, can we help you and give you food? So the third thing there is acts of kindness, and it's something that you should cultivate as a person. All right. So getting into what I want to discuss today, I hope you got these three things I said. Well, this time I'm saying it's very important. You understand what I'm saying here? Uh-huh. It's deal breaker if somebody has been eyeing you in church and goes outside and sees acts of hostility. Are you following what I'm saying here? Where you just saw the security person, you get what I'm saying? It disappears. You understand this? Because those things, like someone said, what is deal breaker? Domestic violence. That's where those things come out from. All right? Nobody has those acts of kindness that has cultivated that within their lives. I'm telling you this here. Nobody will forget. I say an act of kindness, nobody will ever forget that particular thing there. If they come and say, what's the funeral service of a person, and they ask people to come and speak, what they are speaking about the person are what you will call acts of what? kindness. It remains in the consciousness of people forever. So anybody who cultivates, but these are spontaneous things that people carry out. All right. Now, as a single person, thinking about relationship, there are two basic things, and you'll see in scripture it is so. Once you understand this one, all right, then you have an understanding of what God is saying. Number one, the key is to understand, and this exercise where I'm going to take you through in answering questions so you can begin to know the type of person you are, is to understand who you are. What are your own values? What are your own personal aspirations? And the core of your person, as you know that. Then the second thing is that you then look for a person who is a lot like you, or you find a person who is a lot like you, that you are attracted to or have chemistry with. Two things. The first is an individual that first of all understands. Now, if a person doesn't know that, then people can't really help the person. Right? Understands their values, and I'll take you through the process, get it. Your aspirations and the core of your person. And then the second is you now look for a person who is a lot like you, that you are attracted to and have chemistry with. In other words, when Adam was searching and he said he couldn't find a person that was like him. That's what he was really looking for. And when Eve came there, he said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. In other words, this person is like me because she was taken out literally from me. Now, we are not saying, and in a relationship understand this, the key is not perfection as a person. The key is a perfect fit. Okay? It's not that the individual there, I am perfect, but that the fit is perfect. This is why relationships are highly personal. And sometimes people are trying to fit their relationship into things that they learned, maybe at seminars and all of these. But it's a highly personal thing, which is why I said the person, the core of that person. One size doesn't fit all. So, for example, some people want independence in life. They like space. They like their independence. And there are women also that look at it and also may want independence, all right, want their space because they also are high achievers and they want to do certain things. Now, but if you see those two people who have the independence and space there, you'll find them to be very good friends when they sit down and when they talk. Very good friends. You'll see that there's deep intimacy and commitment there. Some other people prefer, that's the way they are made up, that's togetherness, which means we must go around together, we must be together, all right? Now, if you take a together person with an independent person, there's a problem. If you take, all right, and are you following what I'm saying? Yeah, it's independent that must meet independence. Do you get what I'm saying here? And once, I will show you how you get there, how you meet the person. But you have to understand this. There's nothing wrong. Nobody should come and say that, this is very wild and all of that. But, I have a friend, and I didn't say enough for we're in school together for almost 30 years. So I asked her, so he said, where do you live? So I said something. She now said, me and my husband, we live in 2 houses in Lagos. We live here and we live there. Someone said, how can you have 2 houses? How can you? That is them. Are you following what I'm saying here? It works for them. If you betray yourself trying to fit into the mold of what people present to you as popular opinion, you'll be unhappy. You are you. Do you get what I'm saying here? That's the starting point of relationship, and you are authentic you, and there's nothing wrong with being authentically you. What is wrong is if you meet with somebody that wants to be holding hands around about the entire place. Are you following what I'm saying here? and you are somebody that you both, want to be free and all of that, then there will be trouble. Do you get what I'm saying about relationship? Relationship doesn't mean somebody is perfect. It means the fit is perfect. So before you can know your size, before you can find your size, you must know your size. Abi? Or else what you'll be doing is trying by error. You get what I'm saying here? I know it's not like clothes that is just, there are many people. So you'll be all over the whole place. I said this once, I have a friend, she's in English, she's a church member, husband, herself, my friend. And then she told me, said, Pastor, I said what? Because she used to work in church and then she traveled. I said, the church you go to, our pastor, every Sunday said, we'll just be preaching and saying that you people, that you are here in England, your husband is in Nigeria, it's only God that can help you. He can't help you. He said, well, once he gets to that part, we just looked up. He said, I know my husband. He's in this place, he'll come and sit down with me. When we were in Lagos, the kind of job he does, he's in Africa, he's in this place, he's in that place, he's in this place. And now I will now come and carry him to one small town in UK. And he said he will just react. That he comes in, goes, it's the same thing. Said he's happy, I am happy. Do you get what we're saying here? That is relationship. In fact, when I called them the last time, the son was on the phone and we were talking. So the son said, Mommy, I said, what's he asking? He said, who travels more, daddy or pastor? So that means the boy too knows his father does what? Travels. But if you ground a man who, So if you have to be seeing somebody every day, find that kind of what? Person. Are you following what I'm saying here? We'll see that some people are high achievers. I will ask you a question when we get here. How much money is enough? You answer by yourself. We are going somewhere. I'm just building it. What are you willing to risk for that goal? Well, don't right now. We're coming. Don't right now. I'm just laying the foundation here. Then if you're in a relationship, I'll give you do it privately. All right, we will get there. So we're not saying to look for it. So it's together. So relationship is about what works for the parties concerned. That's why dissimilarities create need for negotiation. Why do you think that when people are getting divorced, what do they say? The most common thing, irreconcilable differences. Which means these are differences we have tried to reconcile, we cannot. And I'll explain what really is happening. That a lot of times people don't know it's at subconscious level. This is the explanation. Dissimilarities create a need for negotiation, which means once there's a similarity there, there's a deposit into your emotional account. Once there's a difference there in it, there's a withdrawal, which means that if somebody has to make an adjustment for somebody inside the relationship, a withdrawal has been made because he made the adjustment. That person is no longer the same person they were before they made the adjustment. There has been a withdrawal that's been made. Now, where they are similar and you agree on certain things, a deposit has been made. If in that relationship the withdrawal is far more than the deposit, the account will do what? Crash. So it means one party is stretching and bending, which is okay, provided the load on the bend isn't too much to reach a breaking point. You know, everything has a breaking point. Stress and strain are the effect. When two people don't have therefore a lot of similarities, what happens is that it becomes a struggle, which is why when they will call, I heard somebody say, and she's correct, and this person was speaking in Dubai, all right, she's not Nigerian, foreigner, it's not even a Christian, said, look, this is why arranged marriage, when families used to arrange marriages, it used to work, right? The reason is that the divorce rate is low. The reason is that what happens is that the families check the background, because the similarities and the differences, a lot of them, right, you go back to the family. Because train a child in the way that they will go, when they grow up, they will not do what? Depart from it. The values that people have been shaped, a lot of them, all right, within their families. This is why, right, I won't be able to get into it in this teaching, but this is why, if you want to employ somebody to do a certain work, when you sit down and you're talking to the person, you want to find out whether the person has the what? The right skills for it. You ask the questions to bring it out. Isn't that what you do here? Okay? So you want to find out. Now, let's just assume that you want to employ a driver, and then you're asking the driver, what do you eat? What do you drink? That has nothing to do with the work the person is coming to do. So many times people sit down on a date and don't know the questions to ask. You're asking what color of the... It has nothing to do with that. Now, it shouldn't be a jam question and answer, because I don't have time to go. You shouldn't be jam here. Let me ask you what happened there. But you should, first of all, just talk about your own family and let the person talk about their family. Are you following what I'm saying? I'm not saying you ask the person, hey, so what does your family... No, you talk about your own family and let the person do what? Talk about that. Now, if they are silent on their family, there's a reason why they are silent. Talk about your relationship. You get what I'm saying here? So differences can be healthy. If there are not too many, they can be healthy. Because as you walk through those differences, all right, if there are not many, all right, when there are a lot, they strain because you can use it as leverage to come together. Okay? So you can't be going into something to find out who you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? Can't be using people as guinea pigs, trying your own self-discovery. Recognition of your identity and being true to it. Listen to what I'm saying. Recognition of it, I will explain what I mean being true to it, brings the right people into your space. So number one question I want you to answer. You have your paper? Okay, you have to think about it. I'll give you 1 minute. What is the biggest trait or pattern that you see in your family? Just think about it. What is, if you look at your family and say, what is the biggest trait among the members of my family? What is it? What singular quality defines your family the most? Is it that you are kind, you are stubborn, someone say, you don't know my family, we have strong head, that kind of thing. What quality there defines it the most? Are we good? Second one. Who is the person in a platonic way? Platonic means there's no attraction here. Who is the person that you admire the most and like the most, just as a person now? And what quality do they have that draws you to him or her? Okay? So it could be same sex as a platonic thing. Just to know what qualities in you that draws you to that person. Now, don't write Bible for this answer. We don't want Bible. What book has shaped your philosophy the most about life outside the Bible? That means, which book have you read that has shaped the philosophy the most? Number 4, this cannot be the member of the Godhead. Who is the most important person in your life and why? Don't say Jesus. Don't say Holy Spirit. Okay. Number 5, you have to think about this. Who is the person that has the capacity to make you very angry? than anyone else in your life. And what do they do, he or she does, that makes you angry? Just think about the person. Not that you haven't forgiven the person, but this is the person that makes me angry. This is a good one. How much money do you think is enough? No, just write it. How much money do you think is enough money? And why? For yourself, how much? At what point will you say, it's enough? Okay. Number 7. If you had just one more day to live on the earth, God forbid, what will you spend it doing? You had just one more day. They said tomorrow is your last day on the earth. What will you do tomorrow? Be factual. Don't say, I'll be worshiping God too. So, we can know from what you use your public holidays to do. What you do on Monday and Tuesday, we used to know. Okay, this one will make you think. What quality do you like, as if you knew him, the most in your father? You won't hear. What quality do you like the most in your father? And what quality do you like the most in your mother? What? You didn't hear me? Okay. Now, the second one. What quality don't you like in your father? And what quality don't you like in your mother that you don't want it in your spouse? Now, you think about this. You don't have to write it. If you've been in relationships, have you attracted people with the quality that you don't like? You say yes. Huh? All right. What role do you believe you should play in the life of your partner? What's your role? What do you think my role should be? And what are the 3 most important things? Oh, you have done? Okay, sorry. Okay, you're writing an essay, okay. What are the rules? I have one now, my time. And I'm still going to 37 things. No, this one will finish now. So what role do you believe you should play in your partner? Are you supposed to be a provider? Are you supposed to give money? Are you supposed to do what? Smile? Make them happy? And what are the 3 most important things you provide for the person? Water, car, milk.
Most important things to provide for the person.
Okay, we just have 3 more, so we'll finish this before we're gone. What role do you believe your family should play when you get married? You're laughing. And if a conflict arises, this just to buttress that question, between you and your spouse, between your spouse and the members of your family, what will you do? What? Your 2 sisters are warning your husband. What exactly will you do? All right, I'll give you time to write down. You need a question again. What role do you believe your family should play in your marriage? And if a conflict arises between you and your spouse between your spouse and members of your family, what exactly will you do? Will you just keep quiet? Will you just watch it? Will you intervene? Will you talk to your spouse privately? Will you fight for your spouse? Will you tell your spouse? Whatever. Okay. Number 11. What dream are you looking for to most achieving in your life? What's the dream you really want to achieve at the core? What's the dream? Deep down on the inside of you, what do you want to become as an individual? And then, here's the last one. It was the last one on this page. I didn't know this. Okay, please, I'm sorry. Oh, please, let's move quickly. Let's move. Are we through with that? Now, be honest. Okay, even if you're not honest, you'll be the second part with them. Now, place this in order of your priority in terms of spirituality, which means just put this in. Which one do you think is the most important, second most important, third most important, fourth most important? The four are prayer, reading the Bible, going to church, worshiping God. Just write it. Which one will you put first? Is it worshiping God, reading the Bible, going to church? All right, prayer. Okay. You've written it? Okay. Now, in your actual practice, that's what you wrote. Which one do you spend time most doing? Write the order. Not the theology you have written in your life now. Which means you can say worship God, but do you pray more than worship God? So write prayer. Do you go to church more than you read the Bible? Write going to church. Are you following what I'm saying here? Like someone told our son, who was it that was saying it? Gave the Bible and said, make sure you read the Bible. And the son asked for rent. And he said, read the Bible. And the son came and said, do you read the Bible? He says, I've read the Bible. I'm reading it. But you still haven't given me money for rent. He said, I've told you to go and read the Bible. He said, I read the Bible, but you still not getting money for rent. After 2 months, she said, the check is inside the Bible. If you were reading the Bible, you will have seen that. Okay. So how do you manage conflict? Do you withdraw? Do you argue? Do you fight? Do you make sure you win? Are you a spender of money or saver? And what does your money go to the most? Clothes? Travel? Okay, so let me ask you a question related to that. I said, just this one, then one more. Who has made you feel most loved in your life? And what particular thing did he or she do to make you feel that way? They spend that money on you. When you say you spend that. Okay. I'll leave the last one. It will be long for you to answer that. Okay, let me just short it. Have you ever made a mistake in your life? Yes or no? Relationship mistake. All right. So as you go on, so the first thing about you, therefore, first thing about you as a person, is that you have to, this is you, which is around zeroing on us, to bring it to God. First thing about you is that you have to develop, and I want to explain it, your own emotional well-being. And the reason why this is so important is that a person who doesn't have, if you are not emotionally healthy, you are like a city that the walls are broken down. And what happens is anything can have access into that particular place. So this is very important that you understand, or else anything. And what the life is spiritual. And people recognize it when there are no walls. And so people can exploit and all kinds of things can happen. All right? So people who are emotionally healthy are kind and loving people, but with very strict boundaries. In other words, people that are emotionally healthy, they are kind, but you are not guaranteed to get a yes on everything. They have no sense of guilt to say no. But in your experience with them, you will know they are kind and loving people, but they can say no. And people that are emotionally healthy, okay, let's just go on. So you can never get emotional health here in the sense of seeking it when you enter into a relationship. It can never happen. A relationship cannot, listen to what I'm saying now. You can't get that emotional health from somebody. Now, what you can get is that, and that's why a lot of relationships crash. I'll tell you what you can get, because a lot of people go into relationships with unrealistic expectations. Number two, they go with expectations that even the other party there is not even aware of the expectations that this other person has. And a lot of times the expectation comes as a result, all right, of people not being emotionally healthy. So relating with an emotionally healthy person, I'm sure you know that it's a wild goose chase to say that somebody is somehow before marriage and that marriage will change the person. That's a wild goose chase. Okay? All right. That when you marry, because the human beings are not rational. Once you decide to marry, at subconscious level, they feel they have accepted me the way I am. That's, you have made a decision, I accept you and I can live with you the way you are. All right? So they are not going to change. So it is okay. Once you understand that this person has these flaws, they will not change. I'm ready to live with these flaws for the rest of my life. At least they are not expectations where are you following what I'm saying? Okay? So if somebody is untidy, they're probably not going to get tidy till Jesus comes. They probably will have that behavior. So you have to understand, I'm going to live with this for the rest of my life. If someone has an anger problem, getting married to that person won't drive anger away. You know that? And if they do hands-on management, it's just getting married to that person means I'm your target now. So relating with an emotionally healthy person won't change you. Attachment won't. But what happens a lot of times is that, and that's once you're dealing with an emotionally healthy person, is that they can lead you into the path. Because when you're dealing with an emotionally healthy person, your mood swings don't affect the person. If they are eating and they're done, you come in and you say, please, can you give me this? And they say no. And you're behaving somehow. It doesn't change what they're doing. They continue eating their life and they're enjoying themselves because you get what I'm saying here? So it is you that will look at them and say, I wish I can be like this. An emotionally healthy person will come and meet you. Will you ask for something? No. They'll come back the next time and call you and say, hey, let's go and do this together. You just said no to me on something. They don't, no is no, that is that. Let's move on with what we're saying. So it's that individual that begins to interact with that realizes that I'm dealing here, all right, with an emotionally healthy person. For those of you, let me just give an example here that no football. I mean, you don't have to know football to know what I'm going to say, but I'll just say so you know. So you know Roy Keane, Manchester former captain, and Ian Wright, you know, Asa. So they went for the World Cup, and you could see, and we'll get to it. Ian Wright said he could see him. He told him, let's go for lunch at 2:00. And Ian Wright came to the hotel where he was coming from at 10 minutes past 2. And he said, where is he? Where is Roy Keane? And he called him in the room. And Roy Keane said, and they are together. They are very good friends. They sat together. They do their television podcast, everything together. They are tight. And he was in the room and said to him, he said, what time did we say 2:00? What time did you come? 10 minutes past 2. He said, I've eaten and I've come up. He said, I don't understand. I'm just 10 minutes late. He looked at him and said, we said 2:00. This is 10 minutes past 2. Or I come downstairs. He said, I'm not coming downstairs. I came down at 2. I have eaten, I have come back up. That one said, but I came all the way from something. We said what? 2. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's emotional. He's not trying to please him. He's his friend. He left the place. He came to the podcast is where I was hearing it. This is Digo, but he just said jokingly. He said, that's why we are winning and you guys are struggling with us. That's about you then, back then. He said, because these are the decisions that we take. That somebody said they are coming at 3, and you are sitting down till 3:45 waiting for the person. Because you think you will make problem with you. Are you following what I'm saying here? You are compromising yourself for that person. And you are not going to help and improve that person by making those compromises. And what is going to happen to that person is that they came there at 3:45, you are no longer there. Are you following what I'm saying? And then they said, but we said 3, you came 3:45? All right? And there's no anger in the person that's talking to you. Now, the person who is not healthy, when that person comes at 3:45, why do you come at 3:45? But they stayed. Are you following what I'm saying here? That person won't correct that person because this other person in the dynamics of power knows I've gotten this person at subconscious levels. But when they don't see that person, the next time they say 2, you see the person there at 2. That person is improving that person's life. I'm telling you, there are a lot of problems that happen in relationships that evil communication corrupts good manners. Some people come with good manners and allow somebody else. Instead of taking it this way, it goes this other way. So the reality with emotional healthy person is, emotional healthy person, listen to me, will give you money, but will not give you the money they have planned to use for something else. Boyfriend or girlfriend. They are the 5 wise virgins. Do you get what I'm saying? That when they say borrow, we can't borrow you this one. That's emotionally what? But they are very kind though. That you'll be persuaded about the kindness of this person. Then you think you can exploit the kindness and you meet a war. Do you get what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people live abuse because people exploit their kindness because they don't have those boundaries. Someone said, I want to sleep with you. He said, don't say. You can peck here. Or you just peck a palm. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And the man knows that's it. Let me tell you, no man has ever broken a relationship with a woman that he knows is good for his future because she did not give him sex before marriage. Do you hear what I say? So it has to do with self-conception, and I'll quickly show how you get to it, practically how you get to it. And not depending on others to validate you. If you are depending on other people to validate you, then you have a problem here. So people that are emotionally healthy go through harsh realities of life, dealing with ups and downs, good and bad, with the same consistency, no mood swings. If you see them, they are going through something that is good, they are in a certain state. Whether the thing is bad, they are in a certain state. The state is what? Consistent. So the 3 elements here, they have a profound sense of significance. Now here, this is what you need to get. Profound sense of significance. Now, people who are emotionally healthy believe deep down at the core of themselves that they are unique and they have an intrinsic value. But you know what? those who are not emotionally healthy also believe deep down. Every human being believes deep down they are unique. Everybody. Everybody deep down, you know that you have some intrinsic value. You know what you don't do? You don't affirm it to yourself. People that have that, they know their value, means they look into the mirror and they are saying it to themselves constantly, and they have their written declaration there. So everybody somewhat believes this. The difference is emotionally healthy people have found out the power of raising themselves up from within. That David said, why are you cast down, O my soul? Which means they didn't wait for anybody to come and take them up. They brought themselves out of that place by themselves. Do you get what I'm saying here? And how did they do that? They constantly affirmed it to themselves when they were alone. That's the secret. Such that it wasn't just a nudging that they had that every single other person has. Everybody has it on the inside. But the thing entered into their heart and it became flesh. In other words, they affirmed it when the winds blew against them. When they had a break up, they didn't go and start redefining. When those things happen, that's why they are so strong. That's why they can be, and they didn't get into anything of malice, and then they affirmed it to themselves there about their uniqueness, that this thing will not define, all right, who I am, all right, and they, not that they are saying it outside, which is like you're doing beef on Instagram, like, you get what I'm saying? Put Instagram, like, I'm just want to tell you, everybody now, I'll be blocking them. That one is trauma. Do you get what I'm saying? We're talking about, all right, affirmations to your own self there, right? Declaration there, and they brought themselves out of that particular situation. And in doing that, they realized what their faults, what their mistakes were in that particular thing, and there was an adjustment that happened within their heart. All right? So whether it was a breakup, whether people treated them in an unkindly way, trying to attach their sense of self-worth there, they didn't argue, but they affirmed to themselves who they were, connected with that unique value that was on the inside of themselves. All right? Such that now, what others say about them really has no real major impact there upon their lives as people. So they did that. That's the first thing. They acknowledged, not that they just knew or felt it, they constantly acknowledged it. And most importantly, in the time there of crisis, they brought themselves out, that's their heart, their soul, out of that place of any discouragement and all that. So they become very strong people internally there. And they're people, therefore, that you cannot use acceptance, all right, or manipulation there to try to. It's not even that, you manipulated and then they say won't do it, but they are feeling bad. They don't feel bad. Do you get what I'm saying here? They don't feel bad, all right? They don't feel bad there about the fact that they have made this decision, right, within their lives as people. The second thing, again, is that they are very authentic in what they do. And this is something you also cultivate. Being true to who you really are. Not acting in a certain way to please others, which means I'm not going to act. And some people say, well, why don't I meet the right person that fits me? Because if you live a pretentious life, there's no chance of meeting that person. Because there's self-deception in your own life too. So you don't even know who you are. All right? So they don't start doing things that will compromise their value for acceptance. There's nothing like that. Which means, they say, I will compromise something that I believe is my value. I compromise my, no, they're not doing it for anybody. All right? Authentic living attracts the right people to your life. If you are not true to your own self and live out your core values, how do you meet someone who matches you when you, your own self, you are hidden? So there's no way you're going to meet anybody. So you have to be authentic there. So you don't compromise yourself and values for acceptance. And many people are unhappy today because they are living compromised lives, which means inherently they've already compromised who they are, all right, for acceptance there. They have lived according to the desires of people over them. So this is strength here, which means this is what I believe, this is the authentic, this is who I am. All right? They don't even go, and this doesn't have to be with this. I'm not talking about going to a relationship or romantic relationship. They don't go into platonic relationships, which mean friendships, when there's no real alignment or shared values. This is where they practice it. Okay? If me and this person, if we don't gel, that's it. If I'm on a WhatsApp group that there's no alignment there, that's it. So they are true. And when you do things like that, you are moving yourself into position spiritually to be able to connect with the right, because you are pushing yourself up the ladder there to be able to connect. And then finally, the emotionally healthy person has an attitude of self-giving, which means they're authentic, they know their significance, and they are givers, not takers. However, in this giving, they have defined boundaries. So they are givers, they are not takers, which means they give to a person without expecting any reward or return from that person. They give that way, but they do have clear boundaries on their giving. Just like Paul talked about giving to the widows, he had boundaries there. The boundaries were that the woman must be of this age. She mustn't have children, nieces or nephews. She must be given to prayer. There were boundaries. It wasn't just that anybody just came in and had access to it. There are boundaries. They've thought about it. What is the best way in which I can be helpful to people that way? And there's generosity there. And there's just one thing I want to say here. You are not a city without walls where anyone can walk in at any time. And if you are in close relationship, you give, but you don't create a culture of dependence. You know, all the giving in Scripture, you know, it wasn't repeated. I hope you know that. It's not that they were repeatedly giving to somebody. When they found the Samaritan, they helped him once the man went. It's not that the Samaritan now began to follow him around the whole place. Do you get what we're saying here? Now, once you start creating that culture there, that's why the Bible says, he that will not walk, let him not what? Eat. You can't create a culture there. You can't be in relationship with a person and you have created a culture of dependence, which means that person now believes on the inside of themselves, I can now be what? Dependent on this person. Okay? That's, you understand that this person, you also have value in yourself, and you should find that value that is within yourself. And we've said this, the issue of the 5 wise women. So recognize who you are. It's like Kim shared today in terms of it, before you connect there, because what happens is that people can have all these things, but if the walls are broken down, then what happens is people just come in and feel that we can exploit, all right, this particular person here. And people begin to exploit. And then you may think in your mind, all right, that's what love is all about. And then you get exploited as a person. So finally, if you're in a relationship, just do this. Just do this test here. We want to find differences, similarities. Just answer, all right, write S. So there are 37. Score it after. Okay, I mean, you can get the message for you to say, I want to know the list again. But just score it after, and you find out where the differences are, where you have to work on, or whether this relationship is shaking. Okay? Where the stress is coming from. Number 1, answer D or S. S means we are similar, D means we are different. Okay, N means we are neutral, it's draw. Okay, but no, then let's put draw, because you don't write draw. D or S. The social, economic background of the family of the person you are in a relationship with, is it different or is it similar? It shouldn't take long go. Number 2, your level of intelligence. Intelligence is not educational. Intelligence means somebody says something and the person says, Are you following what I'm saying here? Which means that there are other people you connect with intelligently more than the person. Do you get what I'm saying here? Okay. So is it D or S? Formal education. If intelligence is D. Okay, formal education. That one, I mean, is it D or S? Which means the person a graduate and you two are a graduate. Okay, let's do number 4 here. This one as number 4. Expected roles of both person within the marriage. Are you on the same page? S, or is there difference D? Is it that you have found that I'm going to be a housewife and he is going to be the king fighting the battles? And when he comes home, you will say, my prince and my king, and he delivers the harvest to you. Or is he saying that we are both priests and kings through the blood of Jesus Christ? Is it D or S? Views about power distribution within the family. You understand that? Is it D or S? You may not have gotten to this, but views on raising up children. Do you think you are similar or you are different? This has even become a real issue now. Political philosophy, before it wasn't a matter, but now people are fighting, they're killing themselves on political philosophy. Are you D or S? Are you APC? Is PDP? Because it's a global battle now, even in America. People are divorcing people on Trump or no Trump. Okay. Views about alcohol. You don't say we're in church. Some people feel that we can be sipping. Views about alcohol and partying. D, the amount of noise at the back. Are you people, do you party? All right. D or S? Amount of involvement with in-laws. Not in-laws generally, because some people believe their own can come, the other cannot come. Is it D or S? Sense of humor. Both of you, do you have good sense of humor, or both of you are boring? It's okay. But is it D or what? Yes. Are both of you quiet? You don't laugh? It's okay. Or both of you laugh. Punctuality. No wonder you are quiet when I was saying it. D. The way you were sounding. Let me ask you some. I'm jumping some. I'll give you out later. But this one is crucial. How friendships with the opposite sex should be handled. Do you believe that no friends or with all friends? Can the ex call? You know, he said it himself, so I can say it. There's a very successful, listen to this. There's a very successful pastor in South Africa now. He's a Nigerian guy. He's very successful in Johannesburg. He said, I just saw him on Instagram yesterday. He said, when he got to South Africa, he started dating. When they got married, I think they were about to have a baby. And they had no money for rent. The landlord had come to chase them out. He sat with his wife and said, who can help us? Who can help us? We need money to borrow money. And the wife said, there's only one person I know that will give us this money. My ex. And she had talked to him about the ex. They dated about 20 years. They dated, no, it's not a recent dating, maybe 15 years. He went to meet the ex and the ex gave him money. Can you even mention? All right, next one, level of ambition. Are you very ambitious and the person, which means if I enter this, now this level of ambition, just ambition. The second one is like it, but it's different. Life goals, which is what I've said. So there's ambition, which is an energy. I want to become something. All right? Aish. Let me read it. Attitudes about weight. Weight. Are you D, which means you are hitting the gym. He is hitting the pizza parlor or otherwise. Okay, religious and spiritual beliefs, which means somebody's... No, religious belief doesn't mean you may both be born again. No. But somebody believes that if the business is going down, we need to pray to God and get good marketing strategy. And that one believes we need to anoint the office with oil. You know, it's two... I hope you know it's two different people. Amount of church involvement, because you can cause wahala. Are you similar, which means you both run church, or... Because a man who is quiet about church may talk when you... Ways of handling sickness. Sickness. Do you believe let's go to doctor straight? Does the person believe by the stripes of Jesus you are healed? Which one are you? Well, this one may not work, but amount of money to be given away. Are you on the same page in your giving? Huh? How much money should be spent on clothes, vacation, those kind of things? Are you the same? Ma? How much money should be? Okay. Thoughts on physical intimacy. Are you D or you are S? All right, I left this one out. Let me put it. Desire for verbal intimacy, which means to talk. Let's share. Let's communicate. Huh? But you are a non-communicating person. Now, so I can read out 50 of these kind of things, and by that you can, if you know their differences and their similarities, these are the areas where the pop-up of differences in terms of practice is going to come. And then you understand whether the differences are too many or the similarities are there, and how you will handle and deal with those differences there before they begin, all right, to rear their head. So we can go through all these things, and those are the things in practice that actually cause problems when people are in relationship. However, you can pray and sing favor. So I haven't said all I said. You can say favor. That's what I told you. If there's favor, it helps that they overlook, all right, certain things. God bless you all.